All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Blindside Blitz. I'm Jim McPhee, and right there is Mr. Joe DeCapita.
What's going on, Blitz Nation? Welcome back for yet another one. We're going to be talking some football, of course. We want you guys to be part of the show. That means drop down in the comments down below. Let us know you're live. Let us know if you have any questions, comments, opinions, whatnot. And then if you're new to the show, help us out. Head over to the YouTube channel there at Grumblings Media. Hit that subscribe button for us. Hit the thumbs up while you're there. And then don't forget to tell a friend to tell a friend. Spread the word. We are going to be going through a couple of headlines this week. Titans fire their head coach. We're going to go over that. We're going to go over Baker MVP buzz that's starting to brew. And then the Bills continue to stumble. And, of course, we're going to touch on the Lions safety, Brian Branch, slapping the you-know-what at a Juju.
Absolutely, Joe. So, yeah, a lot of interesting news here in a season to where I don't trust anybody anymore. You know, I have major trust issues with a lot of different teams out there. So let's get right into it. Brian Callahan fired as the head coach of the Tennessee Titans. Mike McCoy is named the interim head coach right now. And what's interesting here with this whole thing is too, he's another head coach that gets fired the same year that they draft a rookie, and he's going to be, I think, the 6th out of 8 or so number 1 draft picks as a quarterback to be fired within that same year. So he puts himself in one of those elite classes here. But if you talk to like Titans fans or people that report on this, they're not really that surprised either, just because of the way that their owner, you know, has handled this team for the last couple of years here since she took over. And she's fired 2 head coaches and 2 GMs since 2022. So very erratic. And it's understandable, though, I guess, for Callahan to be fired after, you know, a 4-19 record here and 1-5 so far this season. And that one win they were gifted by the Arizona Cardinals. But still a little bit of, you know, a little too early, I think, in a sense here.
Yeah, a little bit of a head scratcher. And you say erratic decision making. I mean, this, you know, is definitely it. You know, you have a new owner, newish owner, making all kinds of knee jerk reactions and decisions that with no real, NFL background. It's putting this organization through the ringer, to say the least. But yeah, you mentioned it, Jim. Titans 1-5 right now. You know, obviously we knew this team wasn't going to thrive or just kind of turn the corner right away after drafting Cam Ward. But man, to give up at least 19 points every single week this season, your offense ranks damn near last. It's 28th. Your defense is even worse. That's dead last because you're always on the football field more than the offense is. And then you have Brian Callahan's great offensive mind that turned to mush. Like everybody's wondering what the heck happened with this guy. And this offense is inept. It's terrible. I mean, that's the biggest problem with this team is that there's really no leadership. And Brian Callahan isn't a leader. It's been proven already. You know, this is the type of thing where Callahan, whatever, you know, job he gets next, it's not going to be anything assistant head coach related, nothing like that. It's going to be just as an offensive coordinator, and maybe he can save his career.
Right. Yeah. And it really started right from the beginning of this season to where they were pinned against their goal line before halftime. He ran 3 pass plays right in a row, pinned against the one, had to punt, gave it right back to the Broncos. They went down and scored. just not knowing rules, like really mishandling teams, games, and had to give up his play calling even too. So if you're hired
Yeah.
as an offensive coordinator and play calling, and that's your thing, and then all of a sudden you have to surrender that, it doesn't look too good for you. The Titans offense, they've scored only 83 points,
Yep.
franchise lowest through 6 games since 1985. So I mean, if you're making again, stat lines like that here in your place in history with the team, it's not very good again. So moving on, and now his father, a lot of people didn't know him too there. He's an offensive line coach too. So he, after his son's fired, he's
Bill.
like, that's it. Yeah, Bill Callahan, former coach of the Raiders. He's just gonna step down. He's like, all right, well, I'm out then. I mean, I came here to go coach with my son. He's not here anymore, so I'm out of
Yeah.
this whole
Yeah.
thing. They had to change situations here with them too as well. But again, when you look at the owner, Amy Adams Strunk here, again, the you wouldn't have this situation if she didn't fire Mike Vrabel. Like, he led them to
Mhm.
two AFC
Right.
South divisional titles. I mean, he's look what he's done with the Patriots right now. They're 4-2, first place in the AFC East right now. You had him in your house, and you had to get rid of him. Yeah, I know this. I don't know what the frig he said to her, rubbed her the wrong way, but she's got to get rid of him and hires, Callahan. Doesn't work out right now, and now they're stuck looking for another head coach again. Like I said, 2 GMs, 2 head coaches since 2022, and when the press conference comes down, she doesn't even have to explain herself and what
No,
happened.
no, not at all. And it's interesting, like head coaching candidates right now, the team looking, long term. It looks like they're going to be looking to maybe Joe Brady, Cliff Kingsbury is another name, John Gruden, yeah, and also Brian Flores, to name a few, are going to be key candidates for this team going forward into the offseason. We'll see who they end up going kind of honing in on when we get there. But man, this is a team that now you can just basically write off the rest of the season because things weren't working well before, and they're clearly not going to just automatically turn it around now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll definitely give it some time. We'll see what happens here. Mike McCoy, he's had some coaching experience. He coached for the Chargers a while back, I think 2013 to 2016, I think, or so. So he's been around, but again, they're going to be looking further on down the season how it goes, and really talking to some candidates towards the latter part of the season. But it will be fun to talk about who potentially could be in that next seat and lead that team somewhere, right? Other than what they're doing now. So, all right, let's move on now to Baker Mayfield, the MVP buzz. Baker's finally getting the recognition he deserves, Joe. We talked about this a little bit last week, too. And it's funny. It's funny now all of a sudden the switch hit for everybody. Now that, maybe the fact that Joe Burrow isn't there, Lamar and those guys aren't playing, well, he's injured. Now lately, now the Bills dropped 2. The Philly doesn't look very good even. So maybe now that's when they're like, we gotta find, hey, Baker, look at this guy out here, and he's been doing it the whole time, right?
Exactly.
He's just scrambling around. The guy's making plays. He's going to be one of those guys to where you ask that question to people where they're like, all right, it's late in the fourth quarter, 2 minutes to go. What quarterback are you picking to make that game-winning drive? It's going to be this guy, this guy, this guy. My money right now, it's got to be Baker Mayfield.
100%. I mean, for a guy that already has 4 come from behind wins, this is a guy that's a gritty type of quarterback, and it's not just his throwing arm; it's also his mobility that people kind of forget about how he can take off. And believe me, he loves nothing more than to run through defenders, even when he's
Mm-hmm.
out there. So, a guy who right now currently has 1,539 passing yards, which is 4th in the league right now, 12 touchdowns, tied for 3rd in the league, and he only has 1 pick after 6 weeks, which is tied for 2nd. This is a player that, we've been raving about last year. You were raving about this guy and saying, "Hey, how come no one's really giving this guy any buzz and any love? Let's give him his flowers, right?" Like so, now the time has come because the league is always looking for the next great story. This is a fantastic story. Baker Mayfield starting in the league, gets drafted by Cleveland Browns. They, after a few years, basically just give up on the guy, let him walk. He goes to a couple more teams and finds his home finally in Tampa Bay. where they trusted him. They knew that this guy, by adding him into this with this team and this offense with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin when they're healthy, of course, and then the new receiver that they just drafted, Amika Ibuka, this offense could really take off, and we've already seen that thus far. And Baker Mayfield's the reason why there's so much buzz too is forget about the stats, but it's what he's doing. He's leading this offense. He's taking charge. He's making the wide receivers play better. Look at this past week. He played with spare parts. Spare like they didn't have any true starter out there. They had guys like Tez Johnson, who they drafted in the 6th round. We're hoping that could do something. Cameron Johnson was a nobody before. Now, he had his claim to fame this week, and the possibilities are endless with Baker Mayfield and this team. So it's got to get the Tampa Bay City, everybody down there super excited about what the possibilities could be for this year.
Yeah, absolutely, Joe. And that's the thing too. When you have other quarterbacks that are out there that are playing with injured, wide receivers too, not enough weapons. I mean, look at what's going down in, with the 49ers they're still staying afloat here with Mac Jones. He's a warrior out there, banged up and still playing with guys, that some of these dudes, you don't know their name, but Baker Mayfield, he's had offensive linemen hurt, even last week.
Injuries galore.
Haggard, even the right guard, suffered a shoulder injury last week, even too.
No Bucky Irving.
But no Bucky Irving. No Mike Evans from the beginning. Chris Godwin hurt himself again coming back. Bucky Irving, yeah, like you said, it's like they're continuing on, and he's still making plays happen. Like you said, it's very Josh Allen-esque with the fact that if he goes down, like they're kind of done at this point, with how many injuries that they have, he's like their whole freaking thing right now, making the bread and butter and things happen for him. But again, finally getting the recognition. We'll see what happens as the season plays out.
I know it's early.
But this league, the way it's going right now, this year though, like I said, I don't know who's good even right now. I don't know who's up because a different week, it's a different feel. It's a different flavor, right now.
Parity, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is the true essence of the meaning of the word parity. Like this season alone, there's no way, there's no telling week to week what team's going to be. We can't say like, oh, that team's been winning, so they're going. We figured that they're going to be a winning team, a contender. They're going to probably beat most teams and not, and then all of a sudden they lose to one of the worst teams. Like it's that kind of season where parity is at its strongest essence this season.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, I mean, we'll follow it as it goes to Baker Mayfield, though, finally getting recognition, the MVP buzz. What do you guys think out there? Let us know in the comments, as always, too. We want to hear from you guys, too, what you think. And any other MVP candidates that if you don't think it's Baker even right now, we know, Jared Goff is still playing good. I mean, Dak Prescott's playing good, even though their team's weird too. We know a lot of offense, at least from him and Pickens. That's it, though. It's like, and the running game's doing all right, but their defense is terrible. Like we said before, when the season was going to start, but a lot of different names out there, up for grabs here now that Burrow's out of the picture. Lamar's out of the picture basically right now. Patrick Mahomes starting to play a little better here with the Chiefs. So it'll be an interesting debate as the season plays out. Speaking of the Buccaneers in that division, we've got another good team that's kind of up and coming right now too, in the Atlanta Falcons. And man, did the defense really step up the other night here, Monday Night Football, against the Bills, and really pressured Josh Allen crazily and sacked multiple times. The turnovers ended the game with an interception. He fumbled twice. Not looking good at all. Brought the pressure to him instead of him put the pressure on them and scrambling around. They did not really allow that too much. But still, they didn't look good at all. I mean, you talk about their defense where it's kind of been suspect, but on offense, especially in that second half, it looked like a different team. Like, it's like, these guys ever play with you before? Because you're throwing to nobody. The receivers aren't where you're thinking they're going to be, and it was just a disaster.
Yeah, the Bills, they're an enigma in themselves. We mentioned about how hard it is to judge teams right now, and we're into week 6 already. The Buffalo Bills are one of the toughest ones to figure out now at this point. Circle the wagons, they say. I don't know. Someone forgot a couple wagons on the end because
It's
uh,
like the
I,
Oregon Trail. Somebody, the
I
wagon
tell
wheel
you,
broke, and they need to find
I,
2 cars somehow
I'll
to
tell you
fix the
this right
damn
now.
thing.
Bills defense continues to struggle. The offense is still ranked top 3 leading into the week 6 game. And, it is Josh Allen. Like we've stated this on this show before this season that it's the Josh Allen show in Buffalo, and they don't have any premier talent on the at wide receiver. They have James Cook, which is nice. They got a good offensive line, but if you don't have anybody to really kind of trust in and know that they're going to come up with a big time play or something at some point, that it's really kind of hindering this offense, even though they rank top 3. Let me just tell you this: the defense. This is a wacky thing. As the defense ranks, total defense in general, they're up there in the top 3. They're like second,
Mhm.
but ranks their defense against the run is almost last. It's 28th in the league, and there you go. That's the ball game, folks. If you can't stop the run in the NFL, I don't care how great a pass defense you have. It's showing every week that when they struggle against a good running team, more than likely they're in for a dogfight, and more than likely they're going to end up losing because now Josh Allen is all the pressure's put on him. Didn't happen with his legs, just to keep them hanging around or even to win the game in the end. So um, it's really showing you that this team is not chip ready. It's not. With the way the defense is playing right now, there's no way that this team is going to make a push for the Super Bowl.
No way. And again, that's why I think it ends up leaving it wide open for everybody. And it's a head scratcher, like you said. Yes, you didn't have like Curtis Samuel in the game at all, but where was Keon Coleman again? A guy who looked like at the beginning of the season he was going to start elevating and stepping up. We're like, okay, we've asked this guy to kind of bring it up, and here he comes. And then again, it's just 3 targets I think last week, 11 yards, like nothing. You know what I'm saying? It was just crazy. Um, so I mean, uh, again, it's a long season. Maybe they'll do some stuff, but then going into the bye week, they've got a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of stuff to fix. But going into the bye week, they end up cutting 2 defensive players on top of it too. So uh, I don't think that really, helps all together. So they, maybe, they'll, figure something out here. But I think it's really the offense that needs to get things going here. Maybe grab another weapon too. I'm not sure. But something's not right there.
They need to be able to stop the run. Bottom line, that's what has to
Mhm. Oh
happen.
yeah, that's big
Like
too.
they're good against the pass. That's the
Hmm.
problem. It's
Hmm.
just the run. The run game they're struggling every single week against.
Hmm. Yeah, and like you said, it gets the run too. And Bijan Robinson, just crazy. We talked about him with our guy from our other show. Rise Up Dirty Birds, asking if he was a top 5. I thought about it, and you did for a second, but then you were like, yeah, yeah, absolutely. And then now they're it looks like he's maybe the best running back in the league right now. If
Yeah,
you're not him or Jonathan Taylor, I mean, but both of them are running great. But what
yeah.
Bijan did right there to the Buffalo Bills, when you talk about um, you know, who did you play against? Who'd you beat? I mean,
Hmm.
nobody better than that right now. Then that's the darling of the NFL right now. And you took it to the house, and dismantled them, Rico Dowdle style. But anyways, let's move on now to Brian Branch. Again, Joe, Brian Branch. What are you doing, buddy? This guy has got another fine, another a suspension. Like, what is that? It's like 11 in like 3 years or something like that. This dude just keeps, I don't know what it is. Somebody's got to take him to a woosah, retreat or something like that. Go visit Aaron Rodgers and settle the frig down.
Brian Branch. This is something that kind of is uh he and it's funny because like this situation with at the end of the game, the Chiefs and Lions game, Brian Branch, Juju and him kind of get into it. Juju's helmet comes off, smacks Juju, and it's just like, what do you think the repercussions are, Brian? What are we doing? Like, that if you assault, you're assaulting a guy on the football field. That you're gonna most likely you're getting suspended, probably fined as well.
Mhm.
And to my surprise, though, even though this all kind of came together to what it is now, Roger Goodell in the NFL, merely a slap on the wrist in my eyes. A
Mhm.
one-game suspension. So just next week is like a bye week for Brian Branch. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
obviously it does hurt his team not being there, not being on the field and all that. But man, really only one game? I'm like, okay. I mean, I guess. But this is one of those things where like some players they just don't ever learn. You think about Tyreek Hill, you think about Rashee Rice, you think about like most of them are already on the Chiefs roster. That's the hilarious part.
Yeah, yeah.
All the guys that continue to get in trouble
And it's
every
funny that,
single
yeah, the next one got fined, it was against the Chiefs. So
yeah.
maybe there is a tie there. He's talking about them bullying him and everything. I'm tired of people bullying me in between plays and everything. What the hell are they saying to this guy? What's the matter with this guy that everybody's got to bully him? So right now, if you look at him right now with everything, he has racked up $34,784 in fines so far
Chump
this
change.
season. Yeah. And again, like I said, it was 11 penalty or 11 fines in 2 seasons. So this guy is he's getting picked on or whatever, but he can't handle his emotions here and just had
He's got to
enough and then
learn.
freaked out. But you got, like you said, he's, oh yeah, in the same breath when he goes to apologize, yeah, I'm sorry, I probably should have done it. It's kind of childish, but you keep picking on me, man. That's like, really? You still got a lot to learn, man, especially when you're coming out of that locker room where you got Dan Campbell, who's like, I want you to be tough. I want you to be this. I want you to be that. And, discipline, you know what I mean? But then this guy, it seemed like, a bit of a loose cannon. And the fact that he does it like after the game and kind of like that cheap shot style, right? They're all going to shake hands even after a frustrating, tough game, and you go and sucker punch the dude. You know what I'm saying? It just
Where's the 5 fingers? Say to the face.
that's what he did.
What? Slap.
Yep, bang. But it was just crazy. Knocked the helmet clear off. But again, you talk to him and figure it out, jaw a little bit, say what the situation is here before you just go walk by the guy. He goes to shake your hand and you slap him in the side of the head, you know.
I mean, it's really ridiculous. Now you cost your team, a game at least for you to be there for them and to support them and make plays. Because Brian Branch, don't get it twisted. The guy can play ball. The guy's a good safety. It's just he needs to stay at a trouble. Definitely. Like, come on, be smarter than this.
Yeah, absolutely, Joe. I mean, yeah, it's crazy. So this week has been pretty nuts again. Things are up, things are down, teams are turning around. Drake May again. Seems like with the Patriots, they're making a push for this now. Now tied in that division, getting the win against the Bills should put them above them right now at this point. Then, right? He's been impressive. Seems like he's turning around,
And
and that's the thing with having Mike Vrabel, that was a coach of the Titans. He's a defensive minded guy, but still he found the best in Drake May, is able to get the best out of him right now, playing really efficient football, earning a passer rating of 140.1. He's completed 5 straight games with at least 200 passing yards, rate over 100. I mean, and the receivers showing up again, guys that have been there, even Kayshon Boutte, Demario Douglas, doing stuff. So the only thing is with the Patriots though too is that running game though, still having issues there at the running game.
Dude,
Can't seem to
I
figure
mean,
that out.
what are we doing? Like, you drafted Devery Henderson for a reason, right?
Mhm.
Like, second round pick. You would think at some point you give this kid a shot to start and see what he can do. He's already more explosive than what any running back that you have. Antonio Gibson, sorry. Like, I know he's injured right now, so he's going to be missing some time, but still, a guy who's really he's not that special at all. Ramondre Stevenson continues to fumble. It's like an every week thing now. But for some reason, Ramondre holds on to his job. Come on, you got to be better there, Mike. You can't be so loyal to and be so blind to be like, oh well, we're gonna trust in him and stay with him. No, it's time to make a change. It's time for Devery Henderson to show what he can do as a New England Patriot.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. The other night, was it last night? It was last night, right? Last night was Monday Night Football, right? The Washington Commanders and the Bears going back and forth, back and forth. turnovers for Jaden Daniels too. We don't usually see here too. Again, you can't blame the weather. You know, some people were even trying to do that. He didn't take the blame at all and stuff like that. But some of the mistakes here, allowing Chicago to kind of stay in that team in that game, and towards the end too, you pretty much got this game locked down. You just got to hand the ball off
100%.
to Krosky Merritt
Yep.
and fumbled it up, and just like that, turns it back
Right.
around, and the Bears get another win. And now they're in the higher up in the wins column here, coming back here a little bit here too. But another game to where, again, I'm not buying in on the Bears at all either. I don't think they've turned it around. I don't think Caleb Williams has changed anything. He's missed a bunch of different things. He had a wide open for the 2-point conversion to tie the game up originally. Had the wide open walk in, to the running back, and totally was looking towards the center. So a lot of things still need to be fixed with the Bears. So again, I can't give credit there to what they did. It's more of me looking at the Commanders and saying, come on, guys, you've let another game kind of squander. You've done it before and earlier on in the season. You kind of did another one to where the Eagles again are beatable. The Cowboys don't look very good. Giants are doing what they're doing in that division. And the way this season is kind of wrapping up, everything's tight right now. These close games are going to start to matter because I think everybody's going to be near the same area come wild card time.
Yeah, I mean, the closer we get to the end of the season, you know how the end of the year always goes. There's always guys fighting for the wild card spots, guys that are just on the fringe, hoping that they can get like 1 or 2 more wins before the end of the season to maybe boost them into that slot. And this is going to be I feel like this is going to be the craziest finish of the NFL in recent memory. Like with teams that could be flip-flopping in the playoffs, out of the playoffs. That's how crazy this season has already been. And we're going into week 7 and we still can't figure out these teams 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's funny is the Bears have made some history in that win though too, Joe. With the win over the Commanders, 1 week after they beat the Raiders 25-24, they just now won this game 25-24. With those 2 wins, the Bears became the first team in 99 years to win 2 straight 1-point games by the exact same final score. Last time that happened, back in 1926, when a fella named when the Frankfurt Yellow Jackets won 2 straight games by a score of 7-6. Frankfurt's second win actually came against the Bears too as well, which is interesting. And then also in that game against Chicago, the Yellow Jackets won after Hust Stockton. Hust Stockton, don't really know his name, but his grandson, John Stockton, who is the NBA's all-time leader in assists. His grandfather right there threw a ball to 2-Bits Homan. How about the names back then too, Joe? 2-Bits Homan for a 27-yard touchdown in the fourth quarter to win the game 7-6. So they're making some history though, the Bears though, in that one too. It's kind of the coincidence to it all.
Going to be forgotten.
Yeah, probably.
It's not a stat that like you can put up on your mantle like, hey, back in my day, check what we did out, huh? Back-to-back 1-point wins, baby.
Yeah. Back-to-back 1-point wins. And that's what I mean. It's like they didn't look good at all. I mean, yeah, you celebrate the win. Yeah, Jake Moody was the story of the thing again. Like, oh, here he goes. The kicker just joined the squad. And what's funny is they know that there's nothing good to talk about the Bears when the questions to the Bears are all the same, easy, mediocre. They asked every single player, hey, before today, did you even know who Jake Moody was? And they're like, oh, no, I just met him earlier. I said hi or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, they already knew the answer to that. They know how the game goes and whatever. But and nobody really gives a shit about, the kicker ever. They do their own thing. You know what I'm saying? You didn't ask to say, hey, you guys, have really been making your mark here. Real close games. You just barely lose. What are you guys doing better now? None of that. It was just like, hey, the kicker came in first time in here. You signed him to the practice squad. He pulled it out for you guys. Good job.
Why did Jake Moody sound like a kid from Pop Warner in his interview? Like he sounded very uncertain.
Listen, he's never done an interview before.
Right. It's like he's never done an interview before, but also it's just his demeanor and the way he was answering the questions. it was kind of humorous
It,
to watch.
yeah,
He's like, "I
yeah.
don't know what to say, uh, uh, yeah, we the it wasn't that windy.
What do I do
We
with my
got
hands?
I just kind of, like, kicked through the ball and up it went through the uprights, and yeah, everything's good. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so glad that they welcomed me with open arms." Yeah, because they needed a kicker.
Yeah, they
Like,
need. What are
and
they gonna do?
they were gonna sign
Like,
you.
oh, great, Moody's here. I can't believe they signed that guy,
Do not
man.
give confidence at all. Don't
Ugh.
don't welcome. But
Yeah,
no, it was interesting. That game to me is like it was one of the worst games to watch,
it
to be
was tough
honest,
to
because it
watch,
was very
right?
sloppy, just not a whole lot of excitement throughout the game from start to finish. Even I mean, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just me, but when I watch any Bears game, to me, it's just boring to watch for some reason.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is. But
yeah.
like for Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders, weather permitting, whatever the excuse was, Jaden Daniels got to pull that ball away. He already
Mhm.
knew when he fumbled it in his hand. You could see
Yeah,
as he turned to transition to hand the ball off. It's like, dude, you had it on your top of your knuckles here.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
at that point, you can't hand the ball off. Just pull the ball down and run behind the running back, or just take a sack or whatever. You
Mhm,
got another play,
mhm.
to run the clock. So that was a critical mistake, and this isn't the first time, second time, or even third time this has happened this season so far, is going down to the end of games and a critical fumble happens, and the other team gets it, storms down and scores and wins the game. So, the teams better take
Mhm.
notice and, you know, better cover that ball up
Yeah,
because
absolutely, and
all
something
the
that
players are going after it.
yeah, something that Jaden Daniels is gonna learn now. He's gonna take a look at that one and be like, "Yeah, that one I should have probably tried to tuck that in
Just
or did
hold it.
something, fall
Yeah.
on it, do whatever you gotta do," because you can't have that situation turn into that because just like that, turns it right around, and they couldn't stop the Washington defense couldn't stop, DeAndre Swift at all, man. He was just missed tackles all day long, and he was, just, rolling all the way through, but I think, again, a lot of it, though, is the way that Washington played for a defensive-minded coach and stuff. You gotta go back through the tape and teach some of these guys how to tackle. That one weak one on the one of the wide receivers, I forget who it was, but dude, he just looked like he tried to just kind of like bump him with his arm, like not even attempt a
Mhm.
tackle, and then he just kept going down the sideline, and that's the one that led to the huge touchdown.
Yeah, arm
Um,
tackles don't work.
like,
And
what are
and
you
you kn
doing?
and another thing that doesn't work is leading with your shoulder just to hit them. Like,
Oh,
no,
yeah,
you're
that really
supposed to
irritates me too.
hit and wrap.
Mhm,
It's a fundamental move in football to tackle. You hit, then you wrap, and you drag them down if you have to. Like,
mhm.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know what coaches are coaching. I mean, are they still coaching the fundamentals? Like, it's hard to tell. I mean, we see it week in and week out with the NFL. Like, there's
Oh,
some
yeah.
really poor tackling teams out there, and it's like, what the hell is going
Mishandling the
on?
ball. Mhm,
I mean,
absolutely.
it's ridiculous.
Mhm, mhm. Alright, to wrap up, after Monday night's win now too, we've had this debate with some other people too and talked about it. The Atlanta Falcons, where do you think their place is in the NFL right now? I mean, they've had that blowout loss to the Carolina Panthers, which is that mark on them right now. But besides that,
Yeah,
um,
pretty
Michael
good.
Penix Jr. playing pretty good. Again,
Yep.
you got, the wide receivers are making plays, now that they got another one there too. And it's not just, Drake May. We've seen Kyle Pitts not only in the blocking game, but then also in the passing game. But really, this team is just revolving around Bijan Robinson. That defense has really stepped up since last year. They were looking for pass rushers. They've got the pass rush there now. And it just seems to me right now that Penix just I wouldn't call him a game manager. He needs to, keep it clean. That's it. Just not make the mistakes, as he's still learning because he's still a young quarterback. But just as long as he keeps it clean, not making the mistakes, this team could go really far just off the running ability of Bijan Robinson.
Not just that, the talent overall. Like, it is the Bijan Robinson show because he's the most electric player they have. And he can do everything, like whether it be running in the backfield to even being a receiver and splitting out wide. He can do it all. And that was proven in that game. he was so like leaned on that I mean, of course you're going to. He's your best weapon. But you know what? They have some other key weapons too that have come to life. Drake London this year has been killing it. And that does include Penix being able to throw him the football. So hasn't Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts is having he's having a career year right now with the Atlanta Falcons. And maybe it's because of the new kind of change with the offensive scheme now that they have Penix, a younger quarterback, a guy who is more mobile than a Kirk Cousins, a guy that maybe they are opening up that playbook a little bit more and being a little bit more creative this year, which is kind of unraveling other opportunities for them offensively. But this is a team too that had a really stout offensive line. And unfortunately, they lost a guy. Jake Matthews had to leave the game and never
Mhm.
returned, and it sounds like he may be having a serious injury to might even kind of hold him out for the whole rest of the season. If that's the case, that's going to be a huge loss to that front line. But yeah, I gotta say, like I love what I've seen from Penix, and especially this is his first year. You know, I'm trying to hold back and not be too critical of the kid. The kid is like has his first full year, and he is learning on the go. But I think he's doing it at a tremendous level, and that's what's helping this team stay competitive and staying in the win column.
Absolutely, Joe. All right. So that's it for tonight. Hope you guys really enjoyed the show. Like always, like, subscribe, and also you can listen to more podcasts like this on Pandora, Spotify, Apple Music too, wherever you get your podcast. Just look for Grumblings Media, and you can find our show there underneath that banner. Thank you again so much. We appreciate you guys, and we'll see you in the next one.